On to weather stories now. Floods have been creating chaos in India and Pakistan, and at the core of them are cloudbursts, which are raining hell in mountainous regions, leading to hundreds dying in India, Pakistan and even Nepal. In India, flash floods due to cloudbursts have been reported in Jammu and Kashmir's Kishtwar and Kathua regions. Early this month, the northern state of Uttarakhand had a cloudburst which sent floodwaters crashing into the village of Dharali. In northern western Pakistan, meanwhile, over 300 people died in the district of Bunner following a cloudburst. Intense rains also triggered flash flooding, landslides, mud flows, further flattening homes and reducing villages to rubble in the region. According to a Pakistani media outlet, as many as 1,000 people may have died in the recent flash floods in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, wiping out entire villages there. But the question is, what are cloudbursts and what makes them so deadly to begin with? Well, cloudbursts essentially take place when huge amounts of rain falling in a short period of time over a concentrated area, leading to intense and sudden deluges. Usually, more than 100 millimeters rain must fall within an hour over a localized area of around 30 square kilometers to call it a cloudburst. They are sudden and violent and dispel rain much like a bomb. Well, what leads to a cloudburst? Well, several factors contribute to a cloudburst, including warm, moist air rising upward, high humidity, low pressure, instability, and convective cloud formation. Cloudbursts usually take place in mountainous parts where moist air is forced to rise. The rising air cools and condenses into clouds that are large, dense, and capable of heavy rainfall. And when the clouds cannot hold the accumulated moisture anymore, they burst and release it all at once. What makes South Asian countries like India and Pakistan conducive to an extreme weather event like a cloudburst are the existence of extensive hilly terrain such as the Himalayas, Karakoram and Hindu Kush mountain ranges spanning both the nations. And experts suggest that global warming is driving up the rates of these cloudbursts in both the countries. Not just that, and even warmer air mass can hold more moisture, creating conditions for sudden and intense downpours. While China's shadow over Kashmir is growing darker, from rifles to grenades and even satellite phones, terror recoveries are stamped made in China. And the trail runs straight from Beijing to Islamabad and into the hands of terror groups across Kashmir. Watch this next report from our special correspondent Idris Lone.
The face of terror in Jammu and Kashmir is changing. No longer crude weapons or scattered supplies. What's turning up in recoveries now is sophisticated, high-tech and Chinese. Security forces say most of the arms and communication gear seized this year carry a new origin tag, China. From pistol and assault rifles to Huawei's satellite phones, GPS trackers and encrypted radios known as ultrasets. These devices designed for military use are flowing from the Pakistan Army into the hands of Lashkar and Jaish terrorists in Kashmir. In the recent recovery made in North Kashmir's Bandipora district, 2 Lashkar associates were arrested with Chinese hand grenades. Earlier, in the Pahalgam terror attack, communication gear traced back to Chinese manufacturers was used to recce the area. The devices aren't ordinary phones. They are encrypted, satellite-linked and designed to bypass regular networks, allowing terrorists to communicate directly with their handlers across the border in Pakistan. The pattern is clear, with Beijing arming Islamabad's military with advanced weaponry and telecom gear. A steady stream of Chinese tech is trickling down into terror networks. For Indian forces, Each recovery is more than a weapon. It's a proof of dangerous nexus running across borders.
Security forces believe that even in the Pahalgam terror attack, the terrorists who carried out the attack were using satellite phones like the Ultraset during the recce of the Baisaran area in Pahalgam. On the other hand, security forces now have intensified their operations all across Jammu and Kashmir and are trying to break the over-the-ground network in J&K. With video journalist Firoz Idris Sloan for WION World is One.
U.S. President Donald Trump's sweeping tariff curveball against countries has raised several questions, but one that refuses to leave everyone's mind is why the selective and rather discriminatory approach towards two major global economies. We are talking about India and China, which spared China altogether but left India reeling under a 50% tariff. Well, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio seems to have some answers now. Speaking to Fox Business, Rubio clarified Washington's tariff positions on both India and China. He said that behind America's refrain to sanction China for buying Russian oil lies a clear and a calculated decision. Rubio warned that the bulk of Russian oil imported by China is being refined and then resold in the global market. And imposing secondary sanctions on Chinese refineries would mean disrupting the global oil prices and cause a major spike in global energy prices. But then the immediate question arises, what about India, on which an additional 25% tariff has been imposed, bringing the percentage straight up to a staggering 50% for its trade with Moscow. Going by the same logic that Rubio laid out for China, Washington should have steered clear of tariffs on India as well, but it did not. For many, the math doesn't seem to be quite adding up here. Meanwhile, when asked about Europe's position on the tariff situation, Rubio said that Europeans have expressed concern over proposal of 100% tariff sanctions bill on China, India for importing Russian energy. In fact, Rubio also noted that several European nations which buy refined Russian oil from China have privately raised concerns about any punitive steps being taken against Beijing specifically. Well, that explains a lot of it as of now. China is currently the largest importer of Russian oil, leading Russian oil purchases at approximately 2 million barrels daily, followed by India and then Turkey. Trump had earlier suggested that the tariffs directed towards India was a hard tactic that possibly brought Moscow to the negotiating table. However, in an op-ed published in the Financial Times, White House trade advisor Peter Navarro warned India about cozying up to Russia and China through oil purchases. When asked about prospect of sanctions over European nations still buying Russian oil and gases, Rubio rather treaded with caution. While not giving any clear answer, Rubio indicated that secondary sanctions might be on the cards. But the more important question is, can U.S. afford to upset its European allies at this point and further escalate the tensions? Probably not. With no resolution to the Ukraine war just yet. Well, in a striking display of contrasting visions from India's neighboring countries, the army chiefs of Bangladesh and Pakistan recently made public statements that rather reflect their nation's divergent paths. In a symbolic show of solidarity, Bangladesh Army General Zaman, Navy Chief Admiral M. Nazmul Hassan, and Air Force Chief Air Chief Marshal Hassan Mahmud Khan attended the Central Janmashtami festival in Dhaka. General Zaman declared for unity and religious harmony. Zaman said, and I quote here, "This country belongs to everyone. There will be no division based on religion, ethnicity or community. You will live in this country without fear. We will always stand by your side." That was a statement from Bangladesh. Meanwhile, in a stark contrast, Pakistan's Field Marshal Asim Munir issued a stark warning during his U.S. visit last month. He asserted Pakistan's readiness to defend its territorial claims with all available means, including nuclear weapons. His remarks comes in the backdrop of his provocative rhetoric, where he called Kashmir the jugular vein of Pakistan, emphasizing Pakistan's unyielding claim over the region. That's not all. He also invoked the two-nation theory to uphold the ideology that led to the creation of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan in 1947. And I'm quoting him here, "Our forefathers believed that we were different from Hindus in every possible aspect of life." So the contrasting messages from Bangladesh and Pakistan's military leaders, it rather illustrates two very different approaches to nationhood in South Asia. While Bangladesh is striving for inclusive unity and secularism, Pakistan continues to adhere to divisive religious nationalism.